Hey everyone, welcome back to another story time. So today I have the book for you called Why Do Animals Hibernate? Looking at this cover, do you think it's going to be real or a make-believe story? Today it looks like it might be a real story, right? Because there's photographs instead of drawings, and I can see that it looks like the real animal instead of a drawing of the animal. The animal looks like it's doing something that it probably would do in real life. So looking at the cover too, there's that funny word up here that we might not have heard before called hibernate. Have you ever heard of the word hibernate before? If you haven't, or even if you have, what do you think that word means, to hibernate? Maybe you could use the picture to help you find some clues of what that word might mean, hibernate. Well, what's the animal on the cover doing? It looks like they're sleeping, right? So maybe hibernating has something to do with sleeping. So let's go ahead and read to find out. So, Why Do Animals Hibernate by David Martin. So here's our table of contents. That looks really familiar, doesn't it? So, if I wanted to learn about bats or read about bats, I didn't really care about any of the other animals, what page would I have to go to? Now remember, the table of contents, I find what I want to read over here, and I follow my finger. So I said I wanted to read about bats. I follow my finger over. This one doesn't have the dotted line, so it's a little harder. And it looks like it's going to be on page 14 when I follow my finger carefully over. And if I wasn't sure, I could go, well, hibernation's 4, bears is 6, chicks is 10, so bats is 14. So let's go ahead and we're going to read about all the animals though. So the first one says, what is hibernation? So it's probably going to explain to me what that word hibernation means. I'm going to go back a little bit. There we go. It gets cold outside in winter. Some animals grow a thick coat to stay warm. Do you think they go grab a coat from their closet? What do you think it means if they grow a thick coat? So the coat that they have isn't like the coat we wear, but it's the coat that they have on their body all the time, that fur. So some animals go to sleep for the whole winter. That is called hibernation. Oh, so hibernation is when animals go to sleep for the whole winter. That's what the story just told me. Bears hibernate all winter. They don't wake up for months. Whoa. Bears hibernate to stay out of the cold. So is that the same kind of sleep that you have? Probably a little different, right? That's months. That's not just for hours, that's months. Even days would be a long time for us to sleep. Bears sleep in a warm place called a den. So looking at the picture, this must be a den. Bears eat a lot during the summer and fall. They don't get hungry when they sleep. I wouldn't even think about that. I'd probably wake up starving if I was sleeping for months. Chipmunks hibernate too. They hibernate to stay out of the cold. Chipmunks dig holes under the ground. These are called burrows. So kind of like how we've read different stories with rabbits and bunnies in them, they live in burrows too. So this tells us that they dig holes under the ground, and it's called burrows. So those burrows are holes that they dig in the ground. Chipmunks gather food during the summer. They save the food in their burrows. Look at him. Funny little cheeks popping out. That makes me have a text-to-self connection because growing up, I had hamsters, and our hamsters would always store their food in the sides of their cheeks, and their cheeks would get huge, sometimes a lot bigger than their head, and they would take it to the place that they were sleeping. So that must be something that smaller rodents do, because my hamster was technically a rodent. I think chipmunks are too. Bats sleep upside down. Some do this for the whole winter. Bats hibernate because it's hard to find food in winter. Bats sleep with other bats. When they hibernate, bats hibernate in caves. They keep each other warm. It's a lot of bats. Frogs. Ooh, we've learned all about frogs. So let's see if we can make any text-to-text connections here. Frogs hibernate too. They sleep in the mud. Ooh, I don't think I'd like that. The mud keeps them safe until spring. Hibernating keeps animals safe and warm. It would be fun to sleep all winter. A lot of other animals hibernate too. Do you know what they are? Can you think of any other animals than what we read about that hibernate as well? So on this page it says, where do animals sleep? So we can see the bear sleeps in his den, the chipmunk sleeps in their burrow, the bat sleeps in their cave, and the frog sleeps in that mud. And on this page it says words to know. So these are some important words that we might want to know when we read. So burrow, we kind of talked about that. Cave, we know that's where the bat is. Colony, and den. So we remember reading and I said, oh, that picture must be the den. That kind of tells me that that picture was the den. So colony, I didn't hear that word in the story at all. So knowing what you know about bats, so let's turn back to bats. Oop, let me find it. I know it was on page 14 when we said we found bats. So knowing what we know about bats, we know that they hibernate by sleeping upside down in caves. We know that they sleep with other bats and that they keep each other warm. So what do you think a colony of bats is then? If you had to guess, what would a colony mean? So a colony kind of means like a group, right? Because there's a group of bats that are sleeping together. So if I said there's a colony of bats, it would be a group of them. So those are the words to know. And the very last page is this index page. We've talked about this too before. We haven't done too much with it, but we've talked about it. So on the index page, if I wanted to figure out, if I wanted to read about the den again, so I know it's with bears, but if I wanted to read about the den and I couldn't remember what animal it's with, I would find the word den, and I could see that on page 8 and 22, it talks about a den. So I would go back to those pages and I would read what it says. So thank you, boys and girls, for joining me in reading about Why Do Animals Hibernate. I chose this book because while animals aren't starting to go to sleep for the winter, they'll be waking up. So you might see a lot more chipmunks and a lot more of these animals that hibernate out moving around. So be mindful of them, be respectful, because I'm sure they're hungry from sleeping that long, right? And they're trying to find a bunch of food now. So that is this one. I also wanted to remind you guys that tomorrow is our Spirit Week at Fairborn. Now, you're still going to be at home, but you can participate in our Spirit Week. Tomorrow is going to be pajama day. So when you wake up, you don't have to do anything. You're already in your spirit wear if you're wearing your pajama. Make sure that your adults, if they can and they want to, they're on the Skyhawk Way Facebook page. And they can post pictures of you guys in your pajama, and we're all going to kind of check out each other's spirit this week. All right, bye guys. I'll see you later.